Welcome back to the course, folks. In this lecture, we are going to learn how to work with photos in Canva, whether you are using your own photos or you are finding some interesting ones in the Canva library. Welcome back to the course, folks. In this lecture, we are going to learn how to work with photos in Canva, whether they are your own photos or you find them in the Canva library. The first thing we need to understand is that photos can be used by themselves or placed in either a frame or a grid. Both frames and grids can be found under the Elements tab. If you click on that tab and scroll down a bit, you should find them pretty easily. Let's choose Frames and click on See All to discover them. Canva has a multitude of frames in all sizes and shapes. Some frames will have a border that you can customize, and others will look like devices such as a phone or a computer. There's even a few categories of letter frames, which are quite popular among Canva users. And you can also search frames. Simply type in your keyword in the search bar once you are looking at frames. To make sure you are in the right place, make sure your search box says Search Frames. Let's use this circle shape with a border, for example. This will look nice to create a profile picture. You now have your frame on the page, and we can see the color of the border can actually be customized. All we need now is a photo to put inside this frame. So let's find one in my uploads. I'm going to drop this photo of mine into the frame. And from here, I can do a few things. I can double click on the frame with my photo in it in order to resize the photo or simply move it around. To resize, just grab a corner of the photo and stretch it. And to move it around, just click on the photo again and move it with your mouse. And once you are happy with your cropping or positioning, click on Done. The last thing you can do with this frame is to change the color of its border. To do that, select the frame and click on the color square next to the gradient color button. Your photo is now in a frame and can be moved around easily on your page. If you change your mind, simply click on the frame and click Delete to delete the photo, or right-click on the frame with your mouse and choose Detach Image to remove the photo from the frame without deleting it. Now let's have a look at grids, which are pretty similar to frames in the way they work. Grids will divide your entire page in different frames, allowing you to place multiple photos into a specific grid layout. Let's load one on our page and see how they work. Notice how the grid takes up the entire page. If you don't want it that big, you can always select it and then reduce its dimensions by dragging from one of its corners. This time, I'm going to use photos from the Canva library instead of my own photo. So head over to the Elements tab and type in what you're looking for in the search bar. I'm going to search for dogs. Also, make sure to use the Photos tab under the search box to filter your result and see only photos. Also note that other types of elements like graphics will not snap into your grid and frames. Only photos and videos will. And you see how this photo has a watermark on it? That's because it's a premium element. If you want to avoid the watermark, make sure to find photos that say free. Also, you might want to find photos with a specific color in them, like this first one here, which has a white background. The good news is that Canva has some additional filters that will help you refine your element searches. Click on the little setting icon right here in the search bar and choose some extra filters. And from here, you can pick a dominant color, you can filter by photo orientation, or decide to see only static or animated elements. So here I want photos with a white background. So let's choose the color white and apply the filters. And now almost all my photos have a white background. All I need to do is select the ones I want and place them in my grid. And if I use one and then change my mind, I can easily remove it from my grid by using the Delete key on my keyboard. Okay, I now have my grid full of photos. Something else I can do is to change the color of the background of my design. To do that, make sure to click on the background of the design, not on the grid, and use the color button to choose another color. I don't see one that I like here, so I will create a color by using the gradient button with the little plus in it. Let's go for this fuchsia color. Next, I'm going to resize my grid to leave a little bit of the background show on each side of the photos, trying to remain consistent with the space between the photos in my grid. And there you go, a lovely post for my Instagram feed. It literally took me 2 minutes. How else can we work with photos in Canva? We can actually start our project with a photo. And to do that, you'll need to start from the home page. Click on the Create a Design button in the top right corner and choose Edit Photo or Use in a Design. And that's a great way to start a project if you know exactly what photo you'll be using. There's also a lesser known shortcut if you want to start a project by using one of your photos. It's a button that is located right here in the search bar on the home page. This little camera icon right here. So let's import a photo to work with. This one will do just fine. I'm going to click on Edit Photo, and this will open the photo in its original dimensions. Here it's 4608 by 3456 pixels, so it's a quite high resolution photo, which is great. Okay, my photo is now uploaded, and if I click on it, a few buttons will pop up in the top menu, as well as a blue border with some circles or little balls and lines around my photo. Let's see what all of these tools do. First, the blue frame. This will allow me to crop my photo and resize it. To resize, grab one of the circles or the corners and drag. To crop, grab one of the lines and pull. Next, let's look at what the Edit Image button does right here on top. And folks, you might not see this button, and that probably is because you don't have your photo selected. So click on it, click on the photo to select it first. Once I click, I will see a new menu with different features that will help me get creative with my photo. I can see the background remover, some sliders to adjust a bunch of settings, some filters, and other things like smart mockups, shadows, or frames. There's a lot to cover here, and I don't think this is the right time to do so, as I want to take you to the designing part of this course as quickly as possible. So let's keep all of that good stuff for the section of the course titled Designing for Social Media. I promise I will explain all of these settings there. For now, just remember that all of these features can be found by selecting a photo and clicking on the Edit Image button. Let's wrap up this lecture by going over the last few buttons I haven't covered yet when you have a photo selected. So we have Crop, Flip, a little Info button, and Animate. Crop will let you crop your photo. It's pretty straightforward. Just grab one of the corners and crop to your taste. Once happy with the cropping, click Done. Flip simply allows you to flip a photo either vertically or horizontally. Nothing fancy here. The Info button is interesting though, in that it allows you to harness some information about a specific photo. If I click on it, it shows me the title of my photo together with the type of file it is. Here, it's a JPEG. It also allows me to store that image into a folder, which I'm not going to do at this point. So nothing really too useful here. But had I use a photo from the library instead of my own photo, this Info button could have been much more useful. So let's add a page to our design and import a photo from the library, because I want to show you. Now let's try the Info button again with this new photo selected. And now I can see more info and take more actions. For example, I can view more content from the author of that photo, which can be really useful if I'm looking at creating a consistent presentation or use multiple photos in a carousel, for example, that I post on social media. So if I click on that, on the name of the creator or the photographer, my object panel will go straight to that creator's library. Each contributor to the Canva library has a specific brand identity. This is the brand ID of the author of that photo. And I can build upon this by adding some keywords next to the brand ID of any specific creator. So let's try to add +mountain. Okay, let's come back to our Info button and see what else we can do. We can click on the tags to find related content. We can start a photo, add it to a folder, or see more like this. And this last button will display a few similar elements in the Canva library, helping me remain consistent with my design. I'm telling you, It's very hard to create bad designs with Canva.